Craig Smith.
Hello.
Honored to be sitting here with you today. And we're sitting right now in actually a couple of your visions, which is pretty cool. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the vision of Alovea Pros.
Nice.
But we're here in Sylva, North Carolina, and we're at the first Alovea Pros Summit. So depending on when someone's watching this, they're making a decision either to say yes to be a part of the pros, they're already a part of it, they're excited to share it with someone. And then we have a room full of people that are going to go out and share it with a lot of people. So let's talk about vision to start with, because I want people to catch what they have their hands on. But I want to talk in regards to your background, because I think that sets the tone for what everyone in this room and everybody listening to the podcast can do.
Okay, so background. Okay, so I'm Canadian. You want more than that?
We're not
you
going
want
to
more
hold
than
that
that?
against you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You're not going to hold that against us? All right. Yeah, so my background was somebody that loved sports my entire life. I thought the opposite of school than that. I just love sports. I loved recess. I loved phys ed. Everything else I had to go to, I just kind of showed up to. But when I was young, I just kind of knew I just was going to be involved with the sporting world. But then somewhere I caught this passion for business as well.
Yeah.
And from a sporting perspective, I did grow up in Canada, so by law, you have to play hockey.
You're a hockey.
You have to. It's you get thrown to jail if you do not, both boys and girls. And that might be a sensitive subject right now with the Canadian-U.S. hockey game, but
just rub it in.
Yeah. Well, we have very little. That's what we have. We have to stay true to our hockey. But what's interesting for my transition was I played so much hockey that in the summer, my parents put me into golf, or I played so much golf in the summer when hockey wasn't on, my parents felt I wasn't getting enough activity playing golf in the summer. What they didn't realize, they would drop me off at the golf club at 7 in the morning, pick me up at 5. I'd play like 36 holes a day. We'd be swimming through the lakes after golf balls. Like we had so much fun running around. But they put me into tennis. And I still blame my parents. That changed everything in life, because I quit hockey, I quit golf, I quit everything, and just became passionate about tennis. But I took that passion of tennis and then ended up building or starting my career as a tennis coach.
Yep.
And I probably had the biggest shift in my life, in my professional life, and the success we've been able to have from entrepreneurs, because I started off just coaching tennis, like working with that one person, trying to hit a forehand, backhand. But I was only mainly working with high performance juniors. So anybody who's been coaching high performance athletes before, where are they during the day? In school. So as the coach, what are you doing? Nothing. So I'd be 6 to 8 in the morning, I'd be on court, and then from 4 to 7 or 4 to 8 o'clock, and then on the weekends. But so I had this big gap during the day. So, and I was young at the time, I was 20, 21 years old. I moved up to one of the larger high performance programs in Canada coaching. So I was kind of bored during the day. And I decided just to kind of create this thing about getting kids excited about tennis. So I would go into the schools and I would just get kids excited about the sport. I said I would take over the phys ed class. So I see every single gym class for whatever number of days. It was free to the school, and this is going to be a fun one. But we offered a donation of, the parents could offer a donation of a loonie. Now, do you know what a loonie is? Does anybody know what a loonie is?
Yes, I've actually heard of a loonie, but I don't.
Okay, a loonie is a $1 bill in Canada. So I thought this was a fun idea. Some of the schools would provide $0. I'd be there for 4 days getting kids excited about tennis and like not $1. And then some schools you'd get like 600. But they had to send in a piece of paper to the parents, so they had to sign off and approve that they would allow this crazy person in to get them excited about tennis. And we put a little circle of the dollar coin loonie, and the parents would tape it on like it was Fort Knox. So I would leave a school and I have 600 pieces of paper, and I'd spend like a week trying to get these coins off. But what it created was a tennis school that all these kids started getting passionate, excited about tennis. And from there, they were asking, well, where can they go to teach tennis? So then that's where my entrepreneur passion, like I loved coaching, but I loved business. And when you're coaching, you can only do the certain amount of hours that you have in those days. And even when I was young coaching, I just kind of saw in the future, like, I'm limited to both my income and I'm also limited to my time. My body was
hours in the day.
Hours in the day, and my body was eventually going to fall apart. Because I'm working with some of the best players in the country, and you're starting to get a little bit older, and you're like, geez, I mean, these kids are really good. And I was thinking 10 years out, can I keep up to this pace?
That's good.
So when I started the school, now all of a sudden I had all these parents saying, well, kids want to get excited about tennis.
Where do they go?
Exactly. And this was in Ottawa, Canada at the time. There was 29 clubs. So I started going around to the clubs saying these kids want to start playing tennis. Well, a lot of the clubs didn't have programs or good programs set up. So I said, well, how about I take over your club? I'll manage it. Well, I'll hire the pro. Well, that grew to the point where I had 27 clubs, ended up having 77 full-time pros.
Wow.
And it grew to be the largest tennis school in Canada by the time I was 23, doing like $1.4 million a year. I had no clue what I was doing.
Amazing.
But what it taught me was the power of building a team opposed to trying to do it yourself. And so many people in the coaching world, that's kind of the world. So that's kind of gave birth to all of my entrepreneurial background.
So good. And like I said, those of us that are sitting here today are sitting in one of your visions. We were at the castle last night, and then they heard how things have built and the consistency at which you've seen a vision and seen it through. And so I think it's exciting to realize they get to be a part of and create their own vision attached to Alovea Pros.
Yeah.
I love what you shared about that consistency of building over time, and some left a loony and some didn't.
Yeah.
Because that, I think, is when we share Alovea, whether it's the products or the ability to build, some will say yes, and some will not.
Some will not leave
but,
a loony.
Yeah, some will not leave a loony. But that consistency over time, and it was just for you, it was numbers and sharing what you were passionate about. And that's the big thing, right? Sharing what you're passionate about.
I mean, no doubt about it. And I think, once you start to catch that vision on something, like the CEO, the founder of this company, their faith and their commitment and their passion, it's not work. It's just every aspect of themselves and what they do.
Yeah.
And in my first ever business, the tennis company, it kind of had that same transition. It was like going from just teaching forehands, backhands, serves, all those things on a daily basis to starting to see this vision grow. But one of the things that I learned very quickly is I tried to expand it to another city, and it failed. So here it is the largest tennis school in Canada, which I jokingly say in Canada is not hard because no one plays tennis. So, there's 3 people in the program. It's it was a big program. But I tried to build it into another city that was 8 hours away. And I realized that I built too much of the company around my personality, not around systems and structures. And so what I love about with Alovea is we don't have to worry about the things that are hard in businesses. We don't have what we built in this region in our traditional businesses. We've got almost 300 employees. We've got multiple buildings, huge investments. We've got huge costs associated, millions of dollars in payroll, insurance, all the challenges. With Alovea, they do everything for us. They develop the products, they do the shipping, they do the inventory, they do the web development, they do the app development, they structure and maintain everything for us from an accounting perspective. So they build the systems for us to be able to expand. So back in the tennis school day, I had to figure out how to expand it. This company does everything for us. We get to just focus on partnering with coaches, trainers, athletes, healthcare professionals in a way that we can truly grow this around the world, which I love that vision.
Yeah, and I think it's incredible when you, going back to talking about trading really dollars for hours, or hours for dollars, I should say, and the structure that you said that's in place. And so talk a little bit, expand on that vision of what's possible for, because I know the thing that always got me excited was because I was a personal trainer, and I knew that I could teach someone how to do a squat, or you could treat somebody, or whatever that was, and then they actually would go home or maybe stop working with me or move to a different area and do squats, hopefully really well the rest of their life, right? But I wasn't getting paid squat for that, right? And so
that was good. That was good. I see where you went with that one. That was nice.
But, getting someone started on products because they're coming to you for advice. I think when we think about pros, they come to you for advice, and they're making decisions a lot of times from people that have no credibility or, don't have the ability to speak into their life. And we have the ability to share something that makes an impact for them, makes an impact for the kids, and then continues to make an impact as a pro.
No question about it. And this is where, this room's filled with a lot of coaches and trainers and healthcare professionals, world champions in different areas right here. And for me, what I'm passionate about with the Alovea Pros program is that if you look at people who've gone through and have done something like that, to become a high-level athlete or become a healthcare professional or go through that type of training, you have influence. If anything, you're the original influencers. In today's world, everybody loves to use the word influencers and social media, but if you think of the OGs, I mean, that's coaches, trainers, athletes, healthcare professionals, and they have a community of people that they've already built trust in. And when I was heavily in that coaching world, everybody would come and ask, well, what kind of racket should you use? What kind of string should I use? What kind of tennis shoes should I be wearing? What should I be taking pre-match? What should I be taking post-match? So, and most coaches and healthcare professionals are probably used to this experience where they're being asked all these questions because of the trust, because of the relationship, but they know you know. And part of the challenge with that is the compensation model around how coaches are and athletes and even healthcare professionals in a big way are compensated. And it's not really in alignment with how much work and what they've done in the past. So I love the fact that we can teach and partner with coaches that they can, I was always sponsored by Wilson. We were sponsored by Adidas. So those companies wanted to sponsor us because they knew if I'm wearing Adidas, if I'm promoting Wilson, what am I going to typically share? Still today, we just got heavily involved with a sport called paddle. It's the new up and coming thing. It's a kind of beyond pickleball kind of thing. But I went and bought a racket. The first racket I bought was Wilson because I'm so committed to that sponsorship, and I just love what the company's done. And so you become very loyal, and a lot of coaches, trainers, athletes, healthcare professionals are, if they believe in the company, if they believe in the product. And but as a coach, when you're sponsored, most coaches don't earn money from that unless you're a world-renowned athlete or whatnot. So to be able to create a pros program that they can create true value for the coach, trainer, and athlete, healthcare professionals, so they can provide value to their customers, their clients, and they can get that compensation back, like an affiliate, a specialized affiliate program, I think can really change a lot of lives from both the consumer, but also the actual pro, because most pros are working nonstop. So if they can earn an extra $6, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a year by providing value to their patients and their clients, I mean, those are some pretty incredible vacations. Those are savings for their kids to go to school. That can be game-changing money. And because this program can truly expand around the world, the income potential of this is really kind of unlimited. And I love that stuff where there's no caps to what we can do.
Yeah, and I think that's such the incredible vision is no caps. And I know as athletes or healthcare practitioners, again, going back to depending on the model that you have, sometimes if you're not there, one, you're not getting paid, or if you want to go on vacation, you have to cancel clients or whatever that might look like. And so the ability to build something that gives that financial piece, P-I-E-C-E and then P-E-A-C-E, I guess, but that piece
that was good too.
that allows for that breathing room for time, but then the bigger vision from there, as coaches and healthcare practitioners know coaches and healthcare practitioners. And so the ability to share what is making a difference in the people that you're coaching or that you're working with and getting results for with other people that have influence and impact in their sphere as well too. So that exponential growth is
that
really
exponential
incredible.
growth, I think, is what is kind of fascinating, because I couldn't go sponsor other coaches with Wilson or Adidas.
Right.
But this model is designed to allow us to grow and support this. And I think of all these coaches, healthcare professionals that are here watching this or here live. Whose clients right now are paying you to be here? Probably not a lot, right? When I wasn't coaching, if I wasn't coaching you on court, you were not paying me if I wasn't in that one-on-one meeting. And you are right, the rain could cancel a lesson. Or has anybody run a healthcare clinic here that their patient cancels a meeting? They have an appointment and then they just cancel it. And you try to put in the policies that if you cancel within 24 hours, you're still going to charge you. But then you don't do that because you're building relationships. And everybody who's been in that concept of where you're trading your professionalism for that service, it makes that you have to go through that. So to build something that has that ability to expand, that it's not limited to your time. That's what I learned in the tennis world, was when I was teaching, say, for whatever it was, dollar-wise, say it was $50 an hour. Well, it was limited to that 45 or 50 hours a week I could work. But when I had 77 pros working, and now I'm making an overage on every hour they're working, I was still out there coaching, but I'm getting that overage on every single hour. And that's what I get excited about, is that all these pros and what we're building is we can build almost like a micro franchise model around the world, where we can have thousands and tens of thousands of coaches, trainers, athletes, and healthcare professionals. They all have a little cohort of their community that they can provide customers. They might have 10, 15, 20, 30 customers. Some have hundreds of customers that are buying the products. But then they can span that to other relationships they know, like other people that you know in the fitness world and whatnot. And that potential growth can be, once you kind of get your head wrapped around the size of it. And I look at it similar. I was kind of thinking this just the other day. Like, we came up here with our traditional businesses, and if you look at everything that we've expanded in this region, the dollar volume that we do in this area is about $60 million a year between all the assets that we own or manage, and which is a great little size business. We have 300 employees. We've got all the expenses and the challenges to do that. All that to basically build about a 3% EBITDA, it does very, very well. We're very kind of lucky and blessed in what we've done on that side of it. Then you've got what we can do on the pros program. Yeah. So the pros program, we could do easily, this room, $60 million. I mean, there's one person in this room that will build such a network and do over $60 million of growth with this, because there's 1 million coaches here in the United States. There's millions around the world. There's over 1 million certified healthcare professionals. So you think of even just small percentage of those that become a certified or sponsored pro with Alovea, the growth around that. Well, $60 million in revenue as an Alovea pro, you're going to be earning around 4 or 5% of that as a whole. So, but with no employees, no overhead, no liability, no inventory, no having to buy the buildings. So the potential growth and the excitement of being part of the pros, for those that and some pros are just going to want to share it with their customers, and that is so great. Cool, so amazing. Great. And then there's some that are going to say, you know what, I'm going to go sponsor 1,000 fitness trainers and change the world with this. Yeah, it's so good. Well, and I love what you're saying, and I want everybody to catch this, is like the liability in building a normal business and the investment that takes versus starting as a pro and having unlimited opportunity is pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. Well, and you think most companies don't even give you that opportunity. Yeah. Like, everyone here who's at least on the sporting side could go think of your favorite brand. What company can you go partner with that they're, unless you're a Roger Federer in the tennis world, who both my wife and I have major crushes on. We're trying to figure that out. Companies are going to pay him tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars, but that is the smallest percent in the world. Yeah. But the average coach or the average person out there, to be able to align with a company that is going to compensate you, minimum 20%, up to a much larger percentage on an affiliate partnership. But to be part of a community, to be part of giving back. Yes. Every coach, trainer, healthcare professional, most don't do it for the money, because very few get compensated in the millions of dollars. So they're doing it because they love to help people. And so when you tie in our mission, Nelson, and I've been doing podcasts with other pros, and everyone consistently goes back to one of the things, the reason why I decided to put my name, my credibility, is not only what's in this, the technology, and the how good the product is, but also because for every single product we nourish a child. That one serving matches a child in need, with 7 million kids dying every year of malnutrition. So if we can help be part of that solution and eradicate that, people want to be part of something meaningful. Yeah. And no other company, Nike's not going to do that with you. No other group is going to do that. So that's what makes this meaningful, like really meaningful. Yeah. And there's so much we can talk on that, because I think the exciting thing is then what a coach or a healthcare practitioner or whatever your role is as an Alovea Pro, then your community also gets to see what they're contributing to. That's so right. It's also something that you can be proud about as you then say, hey, as a community, as a team, as this practice, this is what we're giving back. And so it creates the family within the family, or the team within the team, which is going to be really exciting. Well, and I think what's nice is, if you look back, we started this a year ago. This is the first live event where we're really brainstorming and building this out. I'm excited where we are going to be next year. Yeah. Because last year we had about 100 pros get sponsored. That resulted in, I forget the exact amount, but close to a couple $1 million in overall volume. So the growth, just from a small group of coaches, trainers, athletes, and healthcare professionals. You show the power of that. Well, this year we're on pace where we've had a pro join every single day. Not technically, but like some days we've had 4 and then whatnot. But if you average this year, the pace that we're on is more than 3x from what we did last year. So, you know, you start to see that compounding effect, right?
Yes.
We always talk about compounding on your investment side of things. That's the compounding we can have here. Because I look at some of the credibility of the people in this room or maybe who are watching this.
Right.
They have that influence that can expand this program, not only with their customer base, but they can expand this by bringing on, you know, 200 coaches, 200 pros.
Yes.
And then to see the growth of that program. So I can't wait. We may have to buy a bigger building next year.
Knock
to do
down
our
some
next,
walls,
summit.
you know,
Yeah.
expand.
I don't know. This is the oldest building in Silva. This was built in 1890.
Wow.
This
So we're
building.
knocking
So if
down
we
walls.
knock down walls, we may knock down the building.
Yeah.
So we might have to just go buy something bigger.
Well, and I think, you know, in wrapping things up, you know, for everybody that's in the room and everybody that's watching this replay of this podcast, it ultimately comes down to what their vision is, right? I mean, it is buying into the vision that those of you in the room heard earlier from Sam, our founder, Sam Castor. But then knowing that you're being grafted into a bigger vision, but it comes down to your vision. It's what is going to make a difference for your community, for your family, and the cool thing is when you say yes to that, you say yes for a whole lot of other people as well too, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, well, and when you tie in that vision, can the vehicle keep up to that growth and that vision? And is the opportunity there? And a lot of times, people are tying in, like a perfect example, we'll be doing dinner tonight at one of our restaurants. Well, that restaurant runs on a very low margin. It's never going to grow around the country. It is what it is.
Right.
It serves a lot of value and fun and whatnot, but it doesn't have the vision to take it around the world. With the Alovea Pros is that for those that do have that bigger vision, you know, and I'm looking at guys like that dude right there, you know, that have reach and influence and have passion and have purpose around that. They can take this model and literally, we have pros in Austria and Australia and throughout Europe and throughout literally around the world. Sweden, we can have this literally around the world. And that's when you can align your vision with an actual structure that can truly grow. It's going to change a lot of lives.
Yeah, and I think it's important for whatever your influence level is right now. Like if you're sitting here or if you're watching this, whatever your influence is right now, the reality is you're one person away from greater influence. I mean, that's all that it really is. It doesn't really come down to you yourself. It really is about the relationships and the people that you impact, and you're one person away from your influence increasing. So
that's exciting.
Thank you so much, Craig. Thank you
you.
so much. Excited for this. Thank you for the work you've put into Alovea Pros. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be grateful as a result of it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.